Hi guys, today I wanted to talk about inspiration and kind of like where and how I find my inspiration and some sort of ideas and tips on where you can find inspiration and then how you can pull that through into your journaling. So there's a few things I kind of wanted to talk about first before I kind of get into the nitty-gritty of inspiration. And the first pointer for me is why journal. And I mean, I've done previous videos on this, and there are quite a lot of people who do YouTube videos who kind of talk about the benefits of journaling and what journaling can be and do for you. But for me, I kind of sometimes take a step back and think, why am I journaling? And I think when it comes to kind of looking at inspiration, this is kind of a good thing for you guys as well, to kind of perhaps ask yourself that, like, why am I journaling? Why do I want to journal? Because for me, why I want to journal very much influences my my style of journaling and what I journal about and how the process kind of goes. And for me, there are various different reasons that I would want to journal in any particular day. They may be a combination of reasons why I would want to journal. Maybe one day, one the next day. You get the picture. So I kind of wrote it down so I remember. So there are different reasons. Firstly, I may want to journal because I want to document my day. You know, I may want to kind of jot down what happened, reflect on the day, maybe look at whether I accomplished the goals that I set that day, or you know, various things like that. Just writing about your day so that you know, you can go back to it, or you can process it, that kind of thing. So leading on to that is record keeping. You know, if something particular happened on that particular day, I don't know, someone got married, a baby took their first steps, that kind of thing. You may want to journal about that to record that moment for kind of for future and for history, so you know what was going on. So that's documenting your day and record keeping, a little bit of the same, but kind of different in some ways in the way in which you may want to journal about that. You know, if you're just documenting your day, you may want to do it in a different way to how you might want to record a particular memory or moment. It could be the same, it may be different. I may want to journal for processing feelings, either good or bad. Sometimes, you know, if something bad's happened, you know, you may, or, you know, you're angry, you may want to really vent your frustration and splash paint all over the place, or you know, you may want to write reams and reams of writing to get your thoughts out of your head, you know. And also for good stuff, you know, you may feel in a really good mood and you want to just document your good mood, so you may want to journal to process your feelings, both good and bad. And how you're feeling will very much influence why you know, what you're journaling about and how you're journaling, and you know, your style of journaling. You know, if you're in a really bad mood and you're angry, your journal page might be like really dark and black, whereas a happy page might be really yellow and sunny. So that's totally different. And sometimes you just want to journal because you want to journal. Sometimes you just want to play in your journal with pens and paints and stuff. So sometimes, you know, you want to just play, and you know, you've got some time on your hands and you want to play. Or if you're like me, sometimes you feel like this burn or this itch inside of you to just get your paints out and play, and that's absolutely fine. We will do that. So there's sort of different reasons. You could combine the, you know, the wanting to just paint with the documenting your day. You could record the just want to paint with processing your feelings, that kind of thing. So you know, don't think too, I mean, I'm an overthinker, but don't think too deeply about it. But it's just something I wanted to cover, that the way, what you want, why you want to journal may influence how you journal, and that will also influence your inspiration to journal. It comes together in the end, you just have to trust me. So secondly, there's the types of journaling and how you are actually going to, now you know why you want to journal, let's look at the type of journaling that you're going to do. So my list isn't exhaustive, there's probably more that I haven't thought about, but for me I identify these following different types of journaling. Purely art, so literally just purely painting or drawing or something like that, nothing else on the page other than artwork of some description. Purely writing. I used to do this a lot when I was younger. I used to write reams and reams and reams and reams of words and writing, but that was good, you know, that was good for me. I enjoyed that. Sometimes you'll want to slash, so you'll want to kind of put receipts in a book or photos in a book. You know, like, so if you've been somewhere, you might want to put the brochure from the activity that you did, that kind of thing. That's sort of on a smash book sort of style, which leads us on to scrapbooking. You may want to use embellishments and photographs and all that kind of stuff too, to kind of do like a mini scrapbook. You may want to just collage and, you know, just stick random stuff down. And of course, you may want to do a mixture of all of these things or a couple of these things. I personally, I love to stick receipts and stuff in my journal. I love to put photos in my journal. I love to art. But most of the time I will put some form of writing with those because I like to kind of give it context and meaning. You know, even if I'm arting for art's sake, sometimes I will find an inspirational quote to put with the piece of art. I just like to, rather than have, say, a picture of a bunny rabbit on a page, I like to kind of put that into context, like, did my bunnies do something funny that day, or you know, was I just thinking about bunnies? Or like in the winter I drew bunnies in hats and scarves because I thought about little bunnies being out in the cold, that kind of thing. So I like to kind of give some of my pages a bit of context for going back to. So those are just my kind of types of journaling. So why you want to journal and how you want to journal. Sometimes you don't know how you're going to journal until you actually sit down and you open the book. And then you start to journal, and you may start painting, which then may lead into scrapbooking or collage. So it changes all the time. Just because you've started on something doesn't mean you have to be rigid in that form of journaling. Just go with whatever you want to do or whatever the mood takes you. Particularly if you're processing your feelings, just go with it to get it out and on the page. So yeah, so there's why you're journaling and then the types of journaling. So once you've got those two things together, you need to start thinking about what about and your inspiration and where are you going to get your inspiration from. So if you're documenting your day or you're recording a particular event or something, the inspiration for that is probably self-explanatory because something will have happened in your day and you will either write about it or draw it or paint it. So, you know, for example, if you went out for a nice walk with the family at the weekend on a Saturday and you're journaling on a Saturday evening, you may want to just write a bit about your nice walk. Maybe put a few snapshots in that you took. Maybe you'd want to paint the landscape or something like that. So when you're documenting and recording events, your inspiration is pretty much sorted for you. Pretty much. There are still times when you want to journal and you think, oh, right, well, I didn't do much today. What did I do today? Oh, I don't know, I went grocery shopping, did the laundry, I did a bit of work, we came home, we had dinner, watched a bit of telly, we went to bed. Okay, so that sounds maybe like you didn't really do anything, it was a bit mundane, isn't worth documenting. That's so wrong. Everybody's life is worth documenting. Whatever you do, in whatever way you do it, it is worth documenting. I, for one, would absolutely love to see journals from my grandparents, for example. Just what they did on a daily basis. You know, what things cost, what they did, what they wore, all that kind of stuff. I don't have any of my grandparents left. and my grandparents pretty much all passed away when I was small, so all those questions I never really got to answer. But if they'd left journals, oh my God, I would love to read about read their journals, which of course may be a privacy thing, and I don't want you to not journal because you think I don't want future generations to read my journal. Don't think like that, because you can always chuck it away if you want to. Not that I would recommend that, but you can always chuck it away if you don't want to. Don't let people finding your journal stop you from journaling. And you know, like for example, Mr. B, he's very respectful. He doesn't look at my journals. He's very respectful, and I guess you need to have the same sort of relationship with your spouse, that they know that that's your private place, because everyone needs that. So everybody's life is interesting. Whatever you've done, it is interesting, and it's times like that that sometimes you need to look for the inspiration or search for the inspiration, and it is there, it is amongst you all the time. You need to try and be present more in the day. So at times throughout the day, maybe you're having a cup of tea, maybe you could pause for reflection. And actually, you know, I'm a massive tea drinker, so tea would be an inspiration for me. I could, you know, maybe stick the label or the packet of tea in my journal. I could write about what I thought about the tea. I could draw the tea. I could think about what the tea means to me, or how nice it is to take that moment in the day and just take a bit of calm and reflection whilst I'm drinking my tea. So already, just by having 5 minutes to have a cup of tea, I have got so much inspiration there. And I will put all this on the blog as well, so if you want to go back and refer to it, then it'll all be on there, and I'll pop the link in the description below. So yeah, so already 1 cup of tea, I have got all of those possible things that I could journal about a cup of tea. And it actually becomes easier the more that you do this. The more that you start to open your eyes and be present in your day, the more you start to think about things like, oh, I could do that, oh, I could do that. And believe me, it does. It may come maybe a bit more tricky at the beginning, but believe me, the more you do it, the more things you will start to see, and the more things that you will start to save, the more ephemera you will find. You know, like just a receipt that you may have thrown away will suddenly become something you want to journal about. Like your everyday grocery shopping. You know, how many of you just chuck those receipts in the bin? Well, actually stick them in your journal and talk about what you bought in your shopping, how much things cost, the rise of prices of things, you know, whether you're eating healthily, you know, all that kind of stuff. It all, you know, it all becomes really important, and all stuff that you can journal about. So my biggest tip to you is to be present in your day and open your eyes to what's around you and start to look at the importance and the beauty in the everyday. Everything is beautiful in every day. If the sun is shining, glorious. If it's raining, but so many people in England hate the rain. Okay, sometimes it's a bit crappy, but without the rain, we wouldn't have fruit and vegetables to eat. You know, when we look at it like that. And the rain is beautiful. Think about what does it smell like after it rains? Oh, the smell, absolutely beautiful. The reflections on the water, beautiful. You know, the drops of rain going down your windows, stunning. The sound of the rain, inspiring. You know, all of those kind of things. We can turn a bad weather day into an amazing journal day because the rain is so inspiring. I love drawing little kawaii clouds and kawaii raindrops, but also it's rain, so you can't be outside to play, so you've had rainy day play. Rainy day play means excuse to journal, or it means you can snuggle up on the sofa and read a book, so you journal about the book and what you think about the book, and you know, where the book's taking you, and what it would be like to meet Mr. Rochester, or what it would be like to go to Hogwarts, or you know, something like that. It's rain, so you've had chance to spend time with the family. Maybe you sat down together and played a board game rather than going out on your bike ride. you know, that's great family time. You can journal about that, you know, draw the Monopoly board and, you know, journal about how your husband cheated, only when he got up to get a cup of tea, he knocked the board over and all the fake money was hidden under the board. That's all stuff that, you know, can go in the journal. So there are plenty of things in our everyday life that can be used in our journals. It's just a matter of finding that thing to journal about, or to draw or paint or write about or smash about. Now, we're present in our day, and when we're out and about, what if we don't have our journals with us and we want to we might forget about it when we get home, but we want to journal about it? Well, there are little things called notebooks. Take a tiny little notebook in your handbag or purse with you, and then you can just scribble down a few notes. Camera phones. Everybody's pretty much got a camera on their phone these days, and take a picture of it. Just take a picture of it, and then you can either use that photograph as reference to write about and draw, or you could get it printed out and put it into your journal and write about that photograph. As you know, by trade, I'm a photographer, and so photography is a massive part of my life. And I, on a personal level, take several photos a day, and I just really enjoy kind of looking at stuff that's, you know, looking at stuff in a different way. And I occasionally share those sort of photos on my Instagram account, but not too many, because I don't like to bombard you with stuff. On my Instagram, I try and make it a mix of file of facts, journal and personal stuff, just to make it a little bit more interesting and varied. But, you know, there are many apps now that you can upload your photos to, like your Instagram photos to, and you can get them printed. We've got home printers, you know, we've got work printers, you know, and Boots and Tesco's, or like pharmacies and grocery stores, they all have little kiosks where you can put your memory card in or your phone in and print photos out. And let's face it, how often do we go food shopping or somewhere like a chemist, you know? So there's plenty of options that you can print your photos out. So just set yourself like a little challenge, like every day I'm going to take a picture of something that's different about my day. What could that be? Try and think outside of the box and try and think of things in an arty way. Try and see something, try and see the art and the beauty in an everyday mundane object. But don't worry guys, I'm going to help you with this, because for a while now, a lot of you have been asking to see more of journal pages in process, or like a journal along type series. And I've kind of shied away from doing that because there's other people that do that kind of thing, but then I've realised that everybody's style is different, and so I'm going to do like a little bit of a journal along series, and I'm going to do something every week for I don't know how long. Either you get bored, or I get bored, or I run out of ideas, or I don't know, or until I want to talk about something else. I don't know, but I'm going to kind of help you with some inspiration. I'm going to kind of give you some prompts so that you can, you know, try, if you really haven't got any inspiration. Those birds were so loud. I've got the windows open because it's hot. I'm going to give you some, you know, if you want to play and you're struggling with inspiration, that kind of stuff. I'm going to give you some journal prompts, and going to do it with you guys. So, you know, just hang tight for that. I hope that's been interesting for you and given you some food for thought and got you thinking a bit more about journaling. If you're new to journaling, just get yourself a book, any old book, make a book, and come along for the ride. And if you've been journaling for a while, I hope it's kind of maybe giving you a push or a bit of an extra enthusiasm, or you know, that kind of stuff. So we shall see where it goes, but I feel like that's enough talking and time to get cracking with some art and some inspiration for this week. As I said, everything that I've talked about will be on the blog, so that you can go back and refer to it if you don't want to watch the video again. It'll all be on there so that you can just, you know, read it at your leisure. So let's do some journaling.